What's going on, people? Welcome back to Curtis Shaw TV, back with another live stream, and happy Wednesday, people. Hope you are well. The international break is nearly over. I've had enough of it, to be honest. I want to get back to league action. Arsenal play Everton this weekend, and obviously some other big games as well, so looking forward to that. Big up everyone on this Wednesday. Like the video, subscribe, all of that good stuff, people. And we got some bits and bobs to talk about today. A bit of transfer news. A familiar face could be back. Daily Dusan, if you know, you know, people. And, you know, one or two other bits. International roundup as well. The Champions League squad's been named. And also some team news ahead of the weekend, man. These international breaks, I don't know about anybody else, man. I do think they need to do something about it, because they're just terrible. They're so boring. And there is another one next month as well, which is a shame. So, but hey, it is what it is, people. Back again, Daily Dusan. It could be. Is it just paper talk? Is there something in it? We'll delve a little deeper and see if we're actually genuinely trying to sign him. But big up everyone in the chat. That clown Southgate not even giving Eddie 5 minutes. I mean, let's do a little. We'll do a little international roundup before we start the show. Actually, we got a few bits to talk about. Smash the likes, get it to 1K before the stream ends. Subscribe. Let's get to 70K before the end of the year. Join the C Unit community. Big up South London's finest. Big up everyone tuned in. Did you see Maguire's Harry Hill performance? Yeah, the own goal was a bit mad. Do you think Raya will start versus Everton? Personally, I don't. Smith Rowe has been patient, but Arteta buys Havertz instead. No wonder Balogun wanted to move. You got a point. You do have a point. Trossard scored a screamer for Belgium. I did see that. And big up Dr. Barron, big up Big C and the C Unit community. Let's get into today's show, people. We'll start with a bit of a conversation, certainly around the England versus Scotland game. Now, obviously, it was England versus Scotland last night, and, you know, it's a rivalry, isn't it, from way back. And obviously, Arsenal had a little bit of involvement in this game, and England won the game 3-1. Jude Bellingham was just, you know, doing what Jude Bellingham's doing at the moment. He's just outrageously good, isn't he, at the moment? He looks as if he's going to become one of the best players on the planet. If not, he might already be one of the best players on the planet, let's be honest. Saka was on the bench. Foden played on the right. No problem with that, really. Saka played the last game. Big up Mr. Justin, who said he's currently recovering in hospital. Hope you're well, bro. Big up for tuning in. Safe recovery. Kieran Tierney played, and he did okay, to be honest, considering obviously Scotland were much the inferior team. And yeah, there was a lot of talk and conversation. Eddie Nketiah didn't get 1 minute of game time over the two international games. I have to admit, listen, the game was 2-1 and England was sort of hanging on a little bit. But when England went 3-1, there was still 9 minutes to go, plus time added on. Kane had scored. It was a friendly. I know it was called this 150th anniversary game, but it was a friendly. He then brings on Callum Wilson instead of Eddie Nketiah, and I'm thinking it was a bit of a waste of time for everybody, really. I suppose from his point of view, it's still positive for him getting in the squad, but I think from Eddie's point of view, to be there for 2 games and not get 1 minute on the pitch will have probably been a little bit disappointing for him. And yeah, you just wonder how he's going to feel. I'm sure it would have still been a boost for him. Obviously, Declan Rice played 90 minutes in both games, which is always a concern when you've got big games at the weekend. But obviously, there was no injury concerns with him. He had a solid game, and obviously Aaron Ramsdale played in goal for the first time in a while. Did concede the Harry Maguire own goal. Not a lot he could do about that. And listen, for me, and I've said it before and I'll say it again, England should be winning international tournaments. They've got no divine right to win any tournament. We've seen that. But for me, the squad they've got at the moment is unbelievable. I would say outside of probably centre-backs, I don't think they have too many high quality centre-backs at the moment. John Stones, for me, is outstanding. After that, there's no obvious centre-back partner for him, really. Tomori and others, they're good. But England should be winning national tournaments with this. The problem is the manager. You know, he just doesn't seem to know how to get the best out of that team. I watched a bit of the French game against Germany and they didn't look great, but somehow the French will always turn up for a tournament. But England are probably one of the favourites for the Euros. They've probably got the best squad, but they just don't have the best manager, and I feel like that holds them back, unfortunately. He does deserve some credit. He took over from Hodgson, who was worse, and he's got to a semi-final, a final and a quarter-final. But, you know, you're bringing Rashford and Foden off and bringing on, you know, Saka and players of that level. The quality that England have got is absolutely outrageous, and you just feel, is this golden generation not quite being capitalised on by Gareth Southgate? I honestly don't think Southgate is the level of manager that England require, but it is what it is. We'll see how they do. We'll be singing Football's Coming Home, and then, you know, they'll probably get beaten by you know, France or somebody else in the Euros. But hey, Don said, Curtis, both England and Arsenal got good players, but the managers, well, Don, it's early in the week. Well, we're midweek now, but yeah, if I speak, I'm suspended at least 6 months, so we'll leave that one. Ramsdale's distribution was on point. Yeah, I thought he had a good game, to be honest. Big up Trixie, who said, thank you for the super chat, bro. Think how lack of rotation is hindering Arsenal. Is there lack of... Yeah, I mean, Mikel Arteta did say that after the international break, we're going to be playing, you know, midweek every week. So that should be a bigger opportunity for him to rotate. He's got to, you know, work more with the players on the fringes, like your Smith Ropes. Samuel said the CNC unit stands for Shamak. I always knew Curtis rated that guy. Samuel never stops, you know, I'm telling you. Shamak, the greasy-haired striker, started off like a house on fire when he signed, but he was terrible. Big up Samuel, though, in the chat. Zelda said, are you worried with Saka dropping stinkers lately? He had one or two bad games, I've got to be honest, for Arsenal before the break. But I'm not worried. I think the evidence suggests that Saka will always find form. And, yeah, I think with the system being a little bit more settled, we'll be okay. So, no, I'm not worried. But the lack of competition does worry me with him on the right. When you know, if you know you can turn up late for work and nothing's going to happen, you're probably going to turn up late for work. You know, and Saka knows he can do what he wants. So, anyway, let's talk Arsenal, people. Enough with the England talk. And let's talk Champions League. The Champions League is back at the Arsenal next week after 7 seasons without it. Who would have thought when we came out of that competition that it was going to take this long to get back? We play against PSV next Wednesday. And Arsenal have named their Champions League squad. They've named their Champions League squad, people. Now, it's funny, innit? Sometimes you look at the squad on paper, the whole thing, and listen, I do think our squad is better, but I still don't think our squad is where it's required. In an ideal world, I mean, first of all, how on earth? I've got to zoom in. Sorry, bro, you was cool in the petrol station. But this, bro, how has Cedric made it into a Champions League squad? How? How has he made it? You know, Timber got injured. And do you know the crazy thing? I've heard barely any club interested in Cedric this summer. And he actually said at the start of the summer that he wanted to stay at Arsenal. He strikes me as another one of them guys who probably trains well, got a bit of personality. Nobody really wanted to sign him. Arteta probably likes him. Great attitude. Yeah, you can stay. So Cedric will probably end up playing for us in the Champions League at some stage, which words I never thought I'd be saying, people. Cedric has survived. How? How has he survived? Yeah, maybe he'll do stand-up comedy before the show, people. Cedric the Entertainer. Def Comedy Jam Settings. Maybe he'll tell a few jokes. And second of all, I mean, the Teflon Don, they might as well call him at this stage. But, of course, El Neni, injured, somehow survives another year as well. El Neni is the Teflon Don, isn't he? Do you remember his goal against Barcelona the last time we were in the Champions League? People talked about it for years. It was a good goal, to be fair. He had short dreads the last time he scored in the Champions League. Now his dreads are down his back. Cedric and El Neni survived, people. I can't believe it. But here's what it is. Hopefully they don't play any football for us in the Champions League. But the Arsenal squad, anyway, just quickly run through it. Aaron Ramsdale, David Raya, and James Hilson. Hilson is obviously the young goalkeeper. He's not going to play. Cedric, Lino Souza, Tomiyasu, Zinchenko, Ben White, Gabriel, Kivior, and William Saliba. So you're looking at it really. You've got White and Tomiyasu as your two right backs. Zinchenko as your left back. Tomiyasu or Kivior as cover at left back. Not ideal. And then your centre backs, Gabriel, Saliba, with probably White and Kivior as the backup. Souza's a young boy. I don't see him playing much. Cedric, I hope, doesn't play much. In midfield, El Neni, Jorginho, Partey, Rice, Odegaard, Havertz, Fabio Vieira, Emile Smith-Rowe, Trossard and Saka they've put in the forward section. But wingers, maybe they're putting in there. I still think we could do with another centre midfielder in an ideal world. And then Trossard, Saka, Martinelli, Nelson, and Nketiah and Jesus. So... I mean, it's a decent squad. I know we've spoken a lot this year about how much the squad has improved, and I think it has, but I still think we need a couple of players really to have that squad where I think it needs to be. I still think, obviously, Jurrien Timber is a huge miss, absolutely massive miss to this squad. I still think we need another centre midfielder, and I still would like to see another striker in there as well. Cedric, I'm not leaving. Apparently he's teaching Win the Dog, Portuguese dog commands. Trixie said Cedric and El Neni. Oh my God, I'm on. He said he's on substances. I have to be. Big up Trixie. Yeah, I mean, I didn't wait 7 seasons to watch El Neni and Cedric playing Champions League football for Arsenal, but damn, hopefully they're just there for vibes and to smile. You know, that's all I want to see. Zelda said Ivan Toney and Youssef Fofana or Zubamendi. Yeah, I would love Toney and Fofana. I've got to be honest. I think Fofana is an absolute beast. And Ivan Toney would be a great signing. Big up E. Ross. Curtis, my friends convinced me to pay $609 for an Arsenal ticket in October. Can't believe I paid that much for a ticket to see Arteta doing potions. Bro, what game is that? Surely that's got to be the Man City or the Chelsea game at that price. But listen, you obviously feel they're worth it. And you're obviously... in a situation where you're able to pay it. So embrace it. Hopefully you won't be doing silly experiments by that time, but that's a crazy amount of money. It's so hard to get tickets for Arsenal games. So I know sometimes people message for tickets for me. Like I always say, I'm not a guy to get tickets. I don't really speak to many people about getting them. I share a ticket. As you can see, I don't hardly ever go. If I ever hear anything, I will obviously let people know if there's any tickets. But yeah, English tax E. Ross, man, 609 to watch Sheffield United. Are you white? Man paid £609 to watch Sheffield United, fam. That's some serious... for £609, I want a VIP seat at the Man City game. Sheffield United at the Emirates. Jesus. I feel for you, bro. I feel for you. That English tax real, bro. I told you. Sheffield United, damn. You'd have probably been better off flying over here. You'd have got a ticket outside the ground for probably 80, 90 quid for that game. That is robbery. But hey, big up E. Ross, man. Damn. They done you dirty there on whatever website. Man said he's a diehard Austin Trusty fan. These guys haven't been in the Premier League matchday squad. There's no way they'll play in the Champions League. They shouldn't, that's for sure. But listen, the squad, I mean, somebody just said there in the comments, I missed it, we are saying that we're a Saliba injury away from a crisis. For 600, I want to be sat next to Arteta and win the dog. I'm telling you. we've just got to hope that we can keep players fit until January. I do believe we need to go into the January market. I think we'll have to get a couple of players in. I don't think we finished that window like we needed to. I said, what's your minimum for the Champions League round of 16? I would like to see quarterfinals as a bare minimum. I know we've got no divine right, and I do have concerns about Arteta because his European record in the Europa League was not great, but at least he has more experience and coming back with a better team. So there's no excuse for him this year. Arsenal should get through that group. And if we can win the group, hopefully not get a crazy game in the knockout stage. Yeah, I need to see quarterfinals, but we'll see what it is. Might be a parking space. Well, we know about websites and parking spaces. The less said about that, the better. Anyway, let's continue. We spoke about this guy numerous times. Last January, was it? And he's back again, people. Daily Dusan is back. Maybe it's just a slow news day, people, and they're making up stories. I don't know. This story that is in Team Talk, and it's also in the Sun newspaper, so not the greatest of, sources of information. But Arsenal have decided they will bid for Juventus striker Dusan Vlahovic in January, according to reports. Juve wants 68.5 million for the Serbia international, who has netted 2 goals in his first 3 games. Armchair supporter saying quarterfinal is I get you. We should demand winning it, but I'm also being realistic with the quality of our team and manager. Will we win it? We would need a hell of a lot of luck to win it. Listen, Dusan Vlahovic was nearly sold to Chelsea in the summer. Apparently, they were willing to let him go if this price tag was met. There was going to be a swap deal involving Lukaku. It didn't happen. And he's being linked with a move again. I've got to be honest. I don't see it happening. I think, I said this before and I'll say it again. I think Vlahovic is another Higuain, another Draxler, another Yanam Villa, another, whatever other player we were linked with time and time again and never signed. I think Arsenal will look for a striker when the time's right, whether that is January or whether that is next summer. And he started off the season pretty well for Juventus, so I'm not sure Juventus would sell him mid-season. If you offered me Ivan Toney or Dusan Vlahovic at £68 million, I'm taking Ivan Toney. The adjustment to the league will be minimal, or nothing. Obviously a new club, maybe a different style of football. Listen, I think he's worth it. I think the striker market is poor at the moment. You look at Osimhen, he's going to cost you 130, 40, 50 million. But for me, I would go for Ivan Toney ahead of Vlahovic. He's on a lesser wage. He knows the league. He wants to play for Arsenal. Vlahovic was, ignoring the phone calls when we tried to sign him. Now Arsenal have had the glow up. The man's interested in the move. Well, I don't know about that. But listen, if we were to get Dusan Vlahovic, I would take it. I do think we do need another striker. And I do think for £68 million or £68.5 million, there is some value in a Vlahovic move. But I would personally... Chasman said Vlahovic is miles better than Toney. The thing is, I always say this, and it may come across as arrogant, because a lot of people say, the Premier League is not the be-all and end-all. And I know it's not. It's not the be-all and end-all. But there is a player where they are, and there is a player in the Premier League. If they can transform the form outside of the Prem to the Prem, then, it is what it is. But we've seen a lot of players, top quality in divisions, come to this league, and it doesn't happen in the same way. Timo Werner was a beast in Germany. Came here all over the place. Sancho was a beast, had struggles. Now, don't get me wrong. There are some players that it just clicks. Yeah, all right, Oz, you're right. Let's go for a poll. People have started a debate here. We're being linked with Dusan Vlahovic. £68.5 million, January move, possible. obviously, we've spoken a few times. Arsenal's hat is in the ring, it seems, for Ivan Toney. Who would you rather sign, Ivan Toney or Dusan Vlahovic? Bear in mind, just to give a bit of context, Vlahovic is 4 years younger than Ivan Toney. So, there is maybe a bit more longevity there in that signing. But obviously, Ivan Toney has the goals in the Premier League. Dusan Vlahovic has not done it in the Premier League. So, me personally, and I don't want to sway anyone's opinion, I'm taking Ivan Toney because I feel like there is a lot less risk. Who would you rather? Arsenal sign Dusan Vlahovic or Ivan Toney? Let me know in the poll, people. First poll of the day. More polls than an ATL strip club. And listen, if you can get any of them for 60-odd million pound, by the way, there's value in either one of them, to be honest. But yeah, I would rather take Ivan Toney. Toney is better for me. I mean, I saw a thing the other day. Colwell, who plays for Chelsea, they said, who's the hardest striker you've played against? He said Ivan Toney. 10 out of 10 aerial duels won against Saliba. You ain't seen another striker in the Premier League do that to Saliba. Toney's a safe bet. Well, it's definitely a bet, that's for sure. But yeah, Dusan Vlahovic, I mean, just briefly looking at him just in case. At Fiorentina, he was fantastic. 21 goals in 37 games in 2021. He then got 17 in 21 before a big move to Juventus, where he but 10 goals in 27 games last season was seen as very underwhelming. But he has got 2 goals in the opening 3 games of the season. I've got to be honest, I don't think Juventus would sell him in January. I think they're going to have to hang on to him. And I think it would be a summer move, if anything. Especially if he started the season that well. He had a good pre-season. He started the season well. I'm not sure they would, unless they are in financial difficulty. Chasman said Vlahovic is way better technically, better in tight spaces. Pete said, I rate Vlahovic, Juventus is not that good. Shelby said, Vlahovic cannot play Arteta ball. Who even watched him will know. Toney is 10 times better. How are people debating it? It's interesting. It's split. I think more of you are leaning towards Ivan Toney, but there are some of you saying Vlahovic is technically better. I just think that Ivan Toney would suit us. Brentford play good football. And, just the transition is much easier. I don't think Vlahovic even wants to be in the Premier League. I think if he comes to Arsenal, I think it's a case of Juventus saying, we need the money and we're selling you. I don't think he has any real enthusiasm to come to the Prem. Ivan Toney wants to come to Arsenal. We heard him twerking in that interview that he did. I would rather have a player that wants to be here. He's done it in this division, and he plays for a team that plays similar football. I would definitely take Ivan Toney. I've watched Ivan Toney against Arsenal causing us problems. I haven't seen Vlahovic in this country. So him being a baller in Italy doesn't even account to much for me, really. And the big move to Juventus hasn't worked yet. So, listen, for me, Ivan Toney. But some of you, Monty said, just get Zaha. Well, up until last summer, I probably would have taken that move. JS said, I don't understand the Toney hype. Then again, I've not seen him play much. Listen, I don't think Ivan Toney's a player you're going to watch and be like, oh my God, 10 step-overs, 5 nutmegs and a crossbar and in volley. He is what he says on the tin. He's big, he's strong, he wins his headers, his hold-up play's fantastic, and a boy can finish, and he can take penalties, and he's a leader. He's been captain of Brentford at times. So that's enough for me. That's what I want. I want physical presence. I want aerial ability. He can play in a team that plays good football, and he can finish. 3rd top goal scorer in the Premier League last year. Got more than Salah. So, listen, we'll see. We will see. Vlahovic, for me, technically very good. Big, strong. But just you know, the Juventus move hasn't worked, so that worries me a little bit. Can he go onto the bigger stage? Can he do it in the Premier League? We won't know that until he comes here. So I think there's a lot more risk attached to a Vlahovic move than an Ivan Toney one. But listen, the poll is there. Let me know what you think, people. Can you get good odds? Well, I'm sure he'll find them. Vlahovic is more of a powerhouse, while Toney is technically better and composed. Toney is 27 years of age, but with the English boys we have, I feel he will fit in fast. Nicky said, I've seen quite a few Brentford games since I am Danish, and I really like Toney. Coolest penalty taker and a great physical stature. Ariel said, give a third option, keep Eddie. Well, we'll leave that one. Big C, Allegri plays very negative tactics. A lot of people have said that that's one of the reasons as well, that we haven't seen the best of Vlahovic since the football that Allegri plays is very negative, should I say. Big C, Allegri, yeah, that was Raul. Toney is better than all our players, says Shelby. I'm not sure that he's better than Saka. Saka's, I think Saka's a level above Ivan Toney. He could play for most teams in world football. I don't think Toney would play for most teams in football. Let's be real. Big up, Big C is still doing a show with Turkish. Yeah, we're discussing it. We keep saying we're gonna get it sorted. We haven't got it done yet. But we will get it done, don't worry. Samuel said Arteta would feel threatened by Vlahovic's hairline in the dressing room. I would go for Toney. Too much hair. May get him. Even Chiesa is struggling at Juventus. He is, and he is a good player. Yeah, we was borderline there. I can't lie. They nearly got me, people. Well, I nearly got myself. Vlahovic is ready. Toney is banned. Man, that's another point, you know. Do we buy a player that's had a 6-month ban? Is it going to take him time to settle back in and all of that stuff? C. Law said, poor arm security had his arm in a sling. Brook up knows it was that moment I knew Big C rolled through the Euro merch. I'm confused there. I don't know where. What were? Armory security. I thought he said arm security. Listen, I haven't been to the Armory the whole international break. I can't lie. I know they brought out the new merch yesterday, didn't they? Actually, with Pusha T, the rapper. But it was so similar to the green kit, just without the sponsor. So nah, they didn't manage to get me with that one. I can't lie. We'll see. Anyway, let's move on. I'll leave that poll up for 5 minutes or so, and then we'll see. No, I didn't get no Pusha T merch. I like the promo. It was good, but it's too similar, man. Oh, let's bring out the same kit and just take the sponsor off it and sell it for about £100. Like, you can't get me with that one. I might as well go upstairs and just peel off the Fly Emirates off the one that I've got if you want to do that to me. It was listen, the promo was fire, I can't lie, bringing out Pusha T, but I feel they should have changed the merch slightly. Guna Motley, big up Curtis. I would be happy with either Toney, who has the Prem experience, Vlahovic has the age. Yeah, both would be good. Pusha C, said Monty. Yeah, big up yourself, bro. And anyway, let's move on. Next transfer story of the day. And it's Antonio Nusa. Yeah, you all know him. I'm sure you've seen him thousands of times. It's this guy in the middle. I wish it was the guy on the left-hand side with a ponytail we were signing. Of course, we know him. Antonio Nusa. Again, you're going to have to go on Google. You're going to have to go on YouTube to figure out who this guy is. I've been trying to do it for the last, couple of hours. He's called the Norwegian Neymar. So I'm giving you a bit of insight there into play style. He's the Norwegian Neymar. And listen, I watched a few of his YouTube videos. I watched his highlights from yesterday. Norway played yesterday. And I can't lie, listen, YouTube will do this to you, but he looks exciting. And he looked good yesterday. People saying it's one of the subscribers played. Yo, listen, I saw his highlights yesterday of the game, and I watched a few YouTube videos today, and I, Googled him. I'm not going to sit here and say this is a guy. Man says Numa. Man are calling him Numa. It's crazy. Basically, Norway played yesterday. Just to give you a bit of insight, against Georgia, they won 2-1. Goals by none other than Erling Haaland and Martin Odegaard. Martin Odegaard, the captain. And Nusa got 2 assists in the game, people. And Martin Odegaard was waxing lyrical about him after the game, saying he's one of the youngest, brightest talents in Europe and that his next club will be very lucky to get him. Now, Arsenal are being linked with him. He plays for Club Brugge over there in Belgium. He's 18 years of age. He turned 18 in April, and it was his breakout season last season, and he scored in the Champions League. And listen, he's being hyped. He's starting for Norway at the moment. 2 assists yesterday. That was his debut for Norway. And he's available for around £28 million from Club Brugge. Chelsea had an offer rejected for him. Of course, Chelsea would be in for him. They bid for every damn player in the world. And it's believed Arsenal are looking for him. Now, physically, he's very slight. Somebody just said physically he's a twig. But, you know, I don't know how good he is. If anybody has any, more knowledge about him, feel free to let us know. It seems as if he's going to be the next one that clubs are all going to go for in the next window. The problem you have with players like this, he's just burst onto the scene, really, in terms of Champions League and now on the international scene. You can get him now for £28 million while he's relatively unknown. 28 million quid. His wages will be absolutely tiny. You get him now. But a lot of the fan base will be going, well, he's unproven. We don't really know much about him. The problem you've got, if you wait another year for him, for example, he could be getting 70, 80 million pound offers for him. That's how crazy the market is. So, he's on £6,000 a week, according to this website. Antonio Nusa, Norwegian international, and 6,000 euros a week. So you're looking at £5,000 a week. You give him 20, 30 grand a week, he's going to be going crazy. So there's always a balance, isn't there? Because somebody like Brighton will probably sign a player like this, and then they'll probably sell him for 100 million. So what do? Do you get him early? And risk 28 million quid for a potential superstar? I think Arsenal are going to have to start investing this kind of money in younger players. The problem is he plays notably on the left. Now, whether he can play on the right as well, we keep saying we need a right winger to compete with Saka. He can play on the right as well, though. He can play on the right. But also on the left. In fact, yeah, he says attacking midfield, left wing or right wing. Antonio Nusa, 18 years of age, very skillful, very quick, one for the future. Kugler Pete said he can play both wings. He's very direct. I rate him. He looks like a breadstick. And I'm listen, I don't care if he looks like a breadstick if he can score goals, Can he play inverted, people are saying. Facts, 100 million for Evan Ferguson. Well, he'll probably end up costing that. Listen, for 28 million, we've just spent 65 million on a player. Well, you're talking about Havertz, but yeah, listen, it's an interesting one. And Odegaard doing up agent settings for Arsenal after the game last night. South London's finest. The only youngster I've seen recently who looks special is Barcelona's Yamal. Can he invert, though, says Nick? Breadstick and soup settings. Nusa, what's that? Big C, that Tottenham Who mimic? It could be one of them. You don't need strength in football as long as you have a great footballing brain. Listen, watch his highlights from last night would be my advice. He looks very silky, very skillful. People have to understand, at that age, 18, your body hasn't even fully developed into a grown man yet, You usually develop till you're about 21, 22. So physically, he's not going to be usually the most developed, but he looks silky on the ball, I tell you that one. Is Haaland still a ban word? It's not even a ban word. It's just a nightmare for us, isn't it, Thoughts on the Pogba scandal? Listen, what can you say about it? You hope that it's proved that it's untrue or it was a mistake. I just think with Pogba, it feels... Pogba, to me, has had a very good career. He won the World Cup. But it feels to me like Pogba has not fulfilled his potential as a footballer. I think that's the biggest disappointment. The scandal is neither here nor there. It hasn't been proven yet. And we don't know how and why those substances were found in his body. I looked at Pogba at Juventus before Man United signed him back, and I thought we were going to look at one of the best centre midfielders of this generation. I thought he was going to be in conversations with, Luka Modric and midfielders like that. I'm now looking at Pogba going, the career sort of fizzled out. He's not the player that we thought he was going to be. So listen, I hope he's found not guilty, or I hope it was a mistake. I don't want players getting banned, but it is what it is, man. What will be, will be. But I just think it's a shame how his career has sort of gone downhill a little bit. I thought he was going to be an absolute superstar. He has been a superstar at times, but certainly hasn't carried it throughout his career since going back to Man United. Big up, Goat and Ellie. Hope you're well. E-Ross said, keep your head up, Pogba. Canadian Gooner, if Arsenal buy Boniface and Kubo, we win the league. Let's see. Southgate should be sacked. Cliffo said, surprised he's not in Saudi. Yeah, I think that will probably be his next move. Big C, would you still take Pogba? Not now. No chance. Waneri is better than this lad. That 2018 World Cup was amazing. Yeah, Pogba was very good in that one. Antonio Nusa. Again, when I saw the link, I was like, here we go again. Another unknown. But I do honestly believe the market is so congested now. There are times when you may have to sign, a young player for 20, 30 million pounds and take a risk, rather than letting them go somewhere else and ending up worth 80. Let me end the poll, and it's resounding. The people them have spoken. Who would you rather sign, Ivan Toney or Dusan Vlahovic? 81% of you say, give me the betting man himself, get Ivan Toney to the carpet. 19% of you say Dusan Vlahovic. I'm with you on that one. Ivan Toney is the one I would definitely go for, but let's see if it happens, people. I thought Cozy Adubri was going to be the one. I'm not sure. He's a young player, hasn't been involved in the Prem. They obviously took him on tour. They thought something was there. Kubo is a gem, looks a player. Southgate is actually a joke of a manager. Cool bus driver, no sympathy. It's his own fault the way his career turned out. I think with Pogba, it's another one that strikes you as, was he hungry enough, the money, the fame, the celebrity. I don't know. He just kind of feels like I watched him at Man United. He was like, what's his best position? I don't know. Big up Wallace, who said hello. Curtis Sakin said, never seen any player deal with Saliba like Tony did. I agree. Simon said Arteta loves a hybrid, and we're not talking about a car there either. Big up Simon with the super chat. DV said going back to United was a mistake. I think it was. Social media took over Pogba. It's a shame, man. I thought Pogba was a monster of a player, but hasn't quite had the career we expected. The rescue mission is underway, people. I mean, you could say we rescued this guy by signing him in the first place. Now we're trying to rescue his Arsenal career. It's not the guy in the French kit, of course, William Saliba. He's an absolute superstar, of course. We're talking about the guy who he was playing against last night, and that was Kai Havertz, a.k.a. Shy Havertz, a.k.a. Dry Havertz. But Havertz had a little bit of an upturn in form yesterday, albeit a brief substitute appearance. There was a glimmer of hope for Arsenal. And listen, what I'm about to say, this is what you call clutching at straws.com. Curtis Straw TV, people, because, I'm trying to give you some sort of minuscule of hope that something decent is going to happen with this guy. People saying, give me a refund. Anthony said, Neil from the In-Betweeners. I mean, listen, this is the best I've got for you. He came off the bench yesterday, 26 minutes to go, and he got a nice assist for Leroy Sané. Now, yeah, the copium's about to kick in. You're going to hear this and think, is that all you've got to offer me? I mean, the assist was decent. Not much more I can give you than that. But what everyone was going crazy about online, Germany played him right centre mid. We've been playing him left centre mid. So apparently playing him right centre mid is going to solve all of our problems. I mean, listen, I said I was clutching at straws.com, Curtis Straw TV. It was a good through ball to Leroy Sané. Sané looked electric, by the way. I didn't watch the whole game. Some people were saying that Saliba didn't have the best of games yesterday. Anybody who watched the game, let me know. He played centre-back with Todibo. You'd much rather probably see him next to Varane. Although has Varane retired from international football? I'm not sure. But 2-1 win for Germany, which was a surprise considering they got slapped 4-1 by Japan. Listen, moving him from left centre mid to right centre mid, is that going to make, is he going to look like a world beater all of a sudden? I don't think so. And let's bear in mind that Odegaard plays right centre mid for Arsenal. He's the captain. He scored 15 goals last season. He's one of our best players. Are you really going to move Odegaard out of the position that he's performing to give Kai Havertz an opportunity in a slightly different role? I just don't think you are. So, a few of you in the comments saying that Saliba wasn't great yesterday, but I've seen what Saliba can do in an Arsenal shirt, so I'm not really too fussed about that. I'm trying to give you something to cling to when it comes to Kai Havertz. He came on, he got an assist, he did okay. It was a nice assist. But the whole structure of the conversation online was Arsenal should move him to right centre mid instead of left. But, Havertz, as they're calling him. Listen, I'm not prepared to move, I'm not prepared to play him in the position where I'm seeing Odegaard thrive already. Odegaard is already one of our best players. Why am I going to, sacrifice his role for Kai Havertz? Havertz, for me, should be on the bench this weekend. But, hey, it is what it is. That's the best I can offer you right now when it comes to Kai Havertz. So we are absolutely clutching. That is for sure, people. Jitesh said, moving Kai from left centre mid to right centre mid isn't going to fix him. Might actually help him kick the ball instead of the air. Have they tried Havertz as a goalkeeper, inverted keeper? He got that assist because he came off the bench. The bench is where he belongs. The only position this guy should be is on the bench. I just think, and I've said it before, putting him on the bench will remove some of the pressure and remove some of the conversation around him. Alfred, big up the super chat. Is it just me, or once Brazil stopped having the dough and the hoe names, they went downhill? Back in the day, it was Ronaldo, Adriano, Robinho, Rivaldo, and Ronaldinho. So he's saying the lack of dough is what's costing them. Apologies, people. I just got to put this charger in. It's flashing. Right, there we are. Ronaldo. I mean, they've gone from Ronaldo to Fred. So maybe you should call him Fredo. Fredo, like the rapper from London. Maybe that will solve it. But yeah, it's the dough. Homer Simpson settings. They need the dough. The dough and the hoe. I want the money and the cars. What was the song actually? I got hoes. I got hoes in different area codes. Area codes. Hoes. In fact, let me stop, by the way. I'm getting carried away, man. The song. I could just see Nate Dogg there singing, on the West Coast, man. They don't make the hooks like they used to, man. But anyway, apparently it's the dough and the hoe that's costing Brazil. I'm with you though. They ain't been the same since the doughs and the hoes disappeared. Samaz has become a member. Big up yourself, bro. I appreciate that. Yeah, I was gonna get caught up in the tune, people. Yeah, I need to chill. Alfred. You started off a conversation there, and then I ended up taking it in a different direction. Apologies, people, but it is what it is. A big tune, by the way, back in the day. I've had some good nights out where that song has come on, by the way. They don't make hip-hop like they used to, do they? Somebody just said in the comments, Frank Lampard's on the verge of getting the Lyon job. They clearly haven't watched this guy manage. They sacked Laurent Blanc. Well, yeah, Lacazette with Lampard, all the best. Anyway, enough of the hoe and the dough. Jitesh said, would you Kai against Everton? He's a big body. Would you Kai against Everton? Obviously, we know what you mean. Would you play Kai Havertz against Everton? Absolutely not. I don't care how big a body he is. He can sit down on the bench. Get him off the bench and let him come on for 20 minutes and see if he can do something. Andy said, I just entered the stream. Man is singing about ho. I say it all the time, people. You ain't going to get this on any other YouTube channel. What other YouTube channel can you tune in 2:45 UK time in the afternoon and they're singing a Nate Dogg chorus, area codes? If you can find one, let me know, but I just don't think so. I doubt it very much. Would I Kai against Everton, they said. Jitesh said, I absolutely wouldn't. I would not Kai against Everton. I would sit him down. I would tell him to bring his pillow, bring a quilt, and sit down on that bench. And if we're desperate, you can get 10, 15 minutes at the end. But I would not be starting him against Everton. It don't matter how tall he is. That giraffe can sit down. Anyway, to Kai or not to Kai, says PTM. Solution to Havertz is a hoe. Havertz hoe. Maybe that'll, or Havertz dough, Alfred. Maybe that'll sort the mess out. I need to stop, by the way. Enough talk. We're going crazy here. The YouTube bosses will be looking, going, what the hell's going on here? Anyway, let's move on. Couple more stories before we round up people. Where was I about? All right, Fabrizio Romano was speaking about Diamande, who we spoke about the other day. I did a bit more research into this guy, by the way. I realised I have watched him play a few times, and he is a beast. He is a beast. Now, Fabrizio's saying on Arsenal links to Diamande, I'm told he's a player they've been tracking for a long time. It's not only Arsenal, there are 3 or 4 clubs monitoring Diamande for the future. It was a negotiation this summer, it was never a negotiation this summer as he wasn't for sale. But we know that Sporting Lisbon, they often sell players if the price is right. So will Arsenal go back in for him in January? A beast of a centre-back who played against Arsenal for Sporting and being linked with a move to Arsenal. Arsenal believe they can get him for around 50 million euros, even though he has an 80 million euro release clause. 19 years of age, Ivory Coast international centre-back, and valued at around 50 million euros. Looks like a real beast. Luba said, Big C, I was at the Armory, the Shawmery, and I got vulnerable. It happens, man. Just forgive yourself. We're having a good time, man. We're playing good football, man. If you ain't going to spend some money now in the Armory, when will you? I stayed out of the Armory for a long time. Any chance of YouTube notifications? They're doing me dirty, man. They're doing me dirty. Sort it out, YouTube. All people want is a message to say I'm live. That's all they want. Big up my bro Akeem, though. I'm almost out of here, so it's going to be a rewind thing. I can't lie. Rewind. When the crowd say, oh, so let me not do it. I'm in a zone right now. Get him before he blows up somewhere else. And this is what I'm saying with Arsenal now. I mean, if you don't sign a player when they're on the come up, you're going to sign them when they get close to the top of the mountain, and that's going to cost you a lot more money. And that is the problem, And, sometimes they're not going to work, but every now and then you're going to find a Martinelli, who now is a superstar, probably one of our most valuable players. So sometimes you do have to sign them when they're a bit less known, and and try and get them when they're there. Trixie said Diamande, Zubimendi. Who is that? Oh, Simakan. Yeah, we were linked with him. Please not Ferran Torres. And Ivan Toney. Yeah, I don't like Ferran Torres. If you watch me talk about him before, man, I'm not a fan of Ferran Torres at all. I wouldn't want him. But he does score, but I don't like him. That would be... So there's some good names there. But I do think we're going to have to spend some money in the January window. Big up Static, hope you're well. Big up Elliot. Did someone say Armory? That Armory is always open. Next day delivery, people. Like I said, they're pulling out Pusha T to promote merch, which is crazy. I might have to just show that actually before I get out of here. The disappointing thing for me was it's basically the same merch that was already out. So I'm not going to get too hyped about it, but hey, it is what it is, people. 1.6k tuned in. Big up everyone on Twitch as well. Make sure you hit the likes. Slide on the like button. Support Big Bro is out here singing. You know what I mean? I'm singing classics for you on a Wednesday afternoon. But yeah, man, Diamande looks like a monster. I can't lie. He looks like a very, very good centre-back. And if you can get him for £42 million, it would be a bargain. Before we get out of here, Pusha T. I mean, I can't lie. The promo is top quality. The problem for me, it's basically the same shirt as the third shirt. You just ripped off the sponsor off it. You got Pusha T in to just pull out the sponsor. I mean, I respect it. You're bringing in, quality rappers and that to promote it. It's a banger. I respect it. But you should have brought something out. I know there's a couple of other things on the website. I think there's a sweatshirt as well. I think there was there a zip up as well. But they're all very similar. But yeah, man, getting Pusha T to promote it was a big one. I can't lie. That was a hit. I respect that. But that merch is just too similar. I might just go upstairs now and rip the Fly Emirates off, and I've basically got that top anyway. So yeah, it is what it is, man. Somebody said I thought that was Renato Sanchez. Listen, not everyone, of course, in the comments will know Pusha T is a big rapper, so that I'm sure they paid quite a lot of money to get him to promote that. Listen, people, thank you very much for tuning in today. We will start working our way towards the game on Sunday, Super Sunday, 4:30. I believe it's on Sky. I'll be doing a watch along for that. We'll have press conference reaction and all that stuff. That's usually on Friday. But I'll be live tomorrow as well. Make sure you tune in, 2 p.m. Thank you very much for tuning in today. Enjoy your Wednesday. Like the video and subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll see you all tomorrow, people. Bless.